Time to find out who's more popular, DC or Marvel characters with similar abilities or appearance. Let's start the battle.
They chose the Bat, as always.
Batman is way more popular than Moon Knight because he's been a global pop culture icon for over 80 years. He's everywhere. Comics, blockbuster movies, TV shows, and video games. Batman's got that universal appeal thanks to his dark backstory, the iconic Gotham City vibe, and legendary villains like Joker and Bane that make his story so rich. Moon Knight definitely has huge potential and is getting more recognition, but he's still not quite on Batman's level yet.
Power means little without purpose, and I carry both.
Hands down, Superman is way more popular than Sentry. He's the very first and most iconic superhero in the world, known by pretty much everyone since his debut back in 1938. With over 80 years of appearances in comics, blockbuster movies, TV shows, and all kinds of media, Superman has become a global symbol of hope and justice. Sentry may have insane powers and a deep, complex backstory, but he's still mostly stuck in the comic book world and hasn't made nearly the same impact on the general public as Superman has.
I don't fight for fame, I fight for what's right.
No doubt Captain America is way more popular than Guardian. Since his debut in 1941, Cap has stood as a true symbol of patriotism and courage, reaching audiences everywhere through classic comics and the hugely popular Marvel Cinematic Universe. His character is built on powerful storytelling, fighting for justice and integrity, and his success on the big screen has earned him a massive global fan base. Meanwhile, Guardian is more of a background character with limited screen time, and hasn't had that breakout moment in mainstream media, so it's no surprise his popularity doesn't stack up to Cap's.
Faster doesn't always mean better, but this time it does.
Overall, the Flash is way more popular than Quicksilver because he's the ultimate symbol of speed in the superhero world. He's been around since the 1940s and is a key member of the Justice League. Flash has starred in all kinds of media, including a hit TV show that ran for nearly a decade, and several major DC movies. Quicksilver's a cool Marvel character, but he's mostly known as a supporting role and hasn't really had the same consistent spotlight or media exposure. Flash's popularity has stayed strong thanks to his rich character, iconic lightning bolt symbol, and a fan base that spans generations.
What can I say? I'm Iron Man.
Iron Man easily beats Steel in terms of popularity. He's a major figure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and has starred in a bunch of massively influential blockbuster films, especially thanks to Robert Downey Jr.'s iconic performance since 2008. With his charismatic personality, brilliant mind, and high-tech armor, Iron Man has become a symbol of modern technology and a hero willing to sacrifice for the greater good. On the other hand, Steel is more of a supporting character in the DC universe, rarely showing up in big media, and just hasn't had the global exposure needed to compete with Iron Man's fame.
The power of the multiverse is on my side.
Doctor Strange is way more popular globally than Dr. Fate, mainly because of his standout role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the go-to sorcerer with a fascinating story and mind-blowing visuals. He's become widely known through blockbuster films and appearances across different media, making him super accessible to both new and longtime fans. Meanwhile, Dr. Fate, although iconic and full of mystical vibes, hasn't had as much exposure and is mostly known among hardcore comic book fans. So, his popularity just doesn't match Doctor Strange's level on the global stage.
Guess my arrows hit the mark this time.
Hawkeye is more popular than Green Arrow, thanks to his major exposure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially with Jeremy Renner's strong performance in big films and the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus that really fleshed out his story and character. He's known for being a down-to-earth, relatable hero, just a regular guy with no superpowers doing his best, which makes him easy for global audiences to connect with and remember. Green Arrow, while iconic and backed by the hit Arrow TV show, hasn't had the same level of big screen or mainstream media presence as Hawkeye.
The tides have shifted. The crown belongs to me.
Overall, Aquaman is way more popular than Namor, mainly because of his massive exposure in the DC extended universe, especially with Jason Momoa completely redefining the character as a strong, charismatic hero. Being a core member of the Justice League and starring in a hugely successful solo movie really boosted his global recognition. Namor, on the other hand, does have a long history and plays an important role as the King of Atlantis in Marvel, but he hasn't had much big screen exposure yet, so his fan base and general recognition are still pretty limited.
They cheer for heroes, but they remember me.
Catwoman is way more popular than Black Cat, mostly because she's been around longer, has iconic ties to the Batman universe, and consistently shows up in movies, cartoons, and video games. As one of the most well-known female anti-heroes, Catwoman has been a pop culture staple for decades, played by several big-name actresses and featured in major DC storylines. On the other hand, Black Cat, while she shares some similarities and definitely has her own charm in the Spider-Man world, just hasn't had the same level of spotlight or storytelling love in mainstream media.
Size doesn't matter when you've got the heart and the suit.
Ant-Man is way more popular than the Atom, mainly because he's had the spotlight thanks to the massively successful Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. With Scott Lang's charismatic and funny personality, plus his key role in big films like Avengers, Endgame, Ant-Man has become a household name around the world. Meanwhile, the Atom, although a classic DC character, hasn't had a solo movie or a major big screen moment to really boost his popularity to the same level.
They feared my power. Now they respect my name.
Scarlet Witch is more popular than Zatanna, mainly because of her massive presence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Elizabeth Olsen's powerful performance brought Wanda to life as a tragic, strong, and deeply complex character. Shows like WandaVision and big movies like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness really put her in the global spotlight, turning her into a symbol of emotional and magical power. On the other hand, Zatanna is a badass magician in the DC universe with a loyal fan base, but since she hasn't had much exposure in mainstream media, she hasn't quite reached the same level of fame as Scarlet Witch.
From Jersey City to the top, being weird totally works.
Ms. Marvel is more popular than Power Girl because she represents a fresh, relatable hero for a new generation, especially for modern teens. With her own Disney Plus series and a role in the Marvels, Kamala Khan has stepped into the global spotlight and reached a much wider audience. She's also become a powerful symbol of diversity and cultural representation in the superhero world, making her especially memorable to younger fans. Meanwhile, Power Girl is still respected as a classic DC character, but her lack of exposure in mainstream shows or movies has kept her from reaching the same level of popularity as Ms. Marvel today.
I am more than a hero. I am a symbol.
Mar-Vell is more popular than Captain Atom because he's the original Captain Marvel, a legendary figure with an emotional, unforgettable story that left a huge mark on Marvel's history. His heroic journey, especially his battle with cancer and ultimate sacrifice, turned him into a timeless symbol in the comic book world. Even though he hasn't shown up much in the movies, his legacy lives on and continues to inspire every Captain Marvel who came after him. Captain Atom, on the other hand, has incredible powers and plays an important role in the DC universe, but he's still flying under the radar due to his limited presence in mainstream media.
You don't need to see the world to change it.
Daredevil has gained way more global recognition than Nightwing, mostly because he had a major spotlight moment with his Netflix series. That show really put him on the map, earning rave reviews and bringing his dark, gritty world to a massive audience. Matt Murdock's double life as a blind lawyer by day and vigilante by night is packed with emotion, inner conflict, and a unique vibe that makes him stand out. Nightwing's awesome in his own right. Longtime fans love him, and his journey from Robin to solo hero is iconic. But without a standout live-action series or movie, he hasn't quite hit the same level of mainstream fame as Daredevil.
I'm not here to play games. Victory is mine, swift and silent.
Elektra is more well-known than Huntress thanks to the major screen time she's had in both movies and TV shows, most notably her iconic appearances in the Daredevil film and the hit Netflix series. Her close connection to Daredevil as a central character helped boost her visibility among both Marvel fans and general audiences. Huntress, while she plays an important role in the comics and has shown up in a few TV shows, but hasn't had a solo film or a standout leading role in any big adaptation that could really push her into the mainstream spotlight.
I just beat a guy with one eye and zero sense of humor. Typical Monday.
Deadpool easily outshines Deathstroke in terms of popularity, mainly because he's blown up in global pop culture, thanks to 2 blockbuster movies led by Ryan Reynolds. With his wild sense of humor, over-the-top action, and habit of breaking the fourth wall, Deadpool brings a fresh, unpredictable energy that audiences love. His unique costume and rebellious anti-hero vibe make him instantly iconic. Meanwhile, Deathstroke is still a total powerhouse in the DC world, and respected by comic book fans. But his limited presence in major media means he just hasn't reached the same level of worldwide fame as Deadpool.
Your screams are a lullaby. Your defeat, my ascension.
Overall, DC's Enchantress is more well-known, largely because she was introduced to a wider audience in the 2016 Suicide Squad movie, where June Moon was portrayed as a powerful and terrifying sorceress. That big screen appearance gave her a major boost outside of comic book circles. Plus, her ongoing presence in Suicide Squad stories and Justice League Dark has cemented her as a key player in DC's magical universe. On the flip side, Marvel's Enchantress, or Amora, is a classic character with deep roots in Asgardian lore, but she hasn't gotten the same kind of spotlight in mainstream media, which makes her less familiar to the general public.
You evolve slowly. I evolve instantly.
Mazo has the edge over Super Adaptoid when it comes to popularity, thanks to his standout appearances in DC animated series like Justice League Unlimited. He wasn't just another copycat villain. Mazo was shown as a character with real growth, evolving both mentally and emotionally. That, combined with his sleek design and strong connection to the Justice League, made him instantly recognizable to fans and casual viewers alike. On the other hand, Super Adaptoid, while capable of mimicking the powers of the Avengers, hasn't really had his moment in the spotlight. Without major appearances in mainstream media, he's still flying under the radar for most people.
Balance has been restored. The universe bows to me.
Thanos ended up being way more popular than Darkseid, mostly thanks to his huge presence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Movies like Infinity War and Endgame were massive hits around the world, and they pushed Thanos right into the center of pop culture. His deep motives and unforgettable design made him a villain people instantly recognized and loved to talk about. On the flip side, Darkseid, while definitely a powerful and iconic villain in the DC world, just hasn't had that one big movie moment to really launch him into the mainstream spotlight like Thanos had.